breath of twilight caresses the air. The river mist hangs sweet and fair. The evening swallows, they whisper their tune, dancing on the moon. Why have the stars called us here? Welcome to Songwriters Alive with Tom Cooney. And we should have live screen. I'm going to do a quick double check over on our YouTube stream that we've got that going out. And it is, let me see. There we are. Got it. So we're about 8 seconds behind. So it's like watching an old Godzilla movie. We're 8 seconds behind on YouTube. Hey, our special guest here in episode 28 is Terri Camilari from Greater Philadelphia. Terri, how are you? Hello.
I'm doing great, Tom. Thanks so much for having me.
It is good to see you. Terri is a member of the Philadelphia Area Songwriters Alliance, like myself, and that's how we met. And I've enjoyed her beautiful songs and beautiful voice as well, as you will hear tonight, for many years. And she's got a unique musical background and personal background, and it's going to be an hour of time well spent. How are you this fine day? How are you doing
I'm
this fine
doing
day?
great. You know,
Yeah.
I'm doing really well. How are you?
Yeah.
The beautiful sunshine and the day with Matt.
Got it. Good. We're still getting a little bit of breakup on the signal, folks, so don't mind that. And we'll see if we can continue dealing with that. As we like to do on the show, we will talk about all kinds of great topics, as we do with every artist. We talk about their musical background and their songwriting background and what their musical projects are and where you can find their music and listen to the music and buy their music. So it's all kinds of topics when you talk to musicians and songwriters. And we'll talk about all that stuff as the hour moseys along. But we like to get right into the music. And Terri, what were you thinking of opening up with your first song tonight?
I'm going to start with the title song from my CD, Old House. Are you hearing me okay?
Yep.
And aside from the possible internet connections, we do have motorcycles going by the house right now. So this is a song that was inspired actually by an old house that was around the corner from where I grew up. But the song itself is not really about that house. It's about kind of a metaphor for growing older and what that could possibly mean. So I'm just going to go for it here and just jump right in with Old House. There's an old house down on Lovelace Lane. Once was beautiful, but now people see it as an eyesore shame. Roof is full of holes, weeds are climbing free. But in my mind, I see it as it used to be. No one goes in or out. The doors are locked down tight. Daylight reveals flaws, but oh, what a grand silhouette in the moonlight. Can't quite call it a home. It's chilly inside and dark. I walk by with a tear of my own, an emptiness in my heart. Old house, empty now. Old hurts I knew somehow. Broken windows let the cold in. Broken hearts afraid of holding someone new. To one chance to view. As we grow older, so much of beauty fades. Ghostly memories linger and comfort from passion evades. When is it too late to save the condemned from a loneliness fraught with a fear to begin again? Old house, empty now. Old hurts I knew somehow. Broken windows let the cold in. Broken hearts afraid of holding someone new. Oh, old house, empty now. Old hurts I knew somehow. Broken windows let the cold in. Broken hearts afraid of holding someone new. Took one chance too few.
Wow, that is a beautiful song. Every time I hear that
Thank
song, I love that song every time I hear it.
Thank you
Now,
so much.
now that was the title cut on your release open house of this old
Yeah,
house. Yeah.
we released a I released a CD because I'm so lucky. Right before the shutdown in the very end of 2019, the very beginning of 2020, we had a CD release party at the end of January 2020, and 5 weeks later, the country shut down and we weren't playing out anymore. But still, it's still available anywhere you get music. It's available. You can download individual tracks. You can buy an actual CD, and I have them. And also, CD Baby, you can buy an actual CD or download anywhere else.
Yeah.
Places I don't even know this CD is for sale.
Yeah, that is true. That Terry's talking about, of course, the physical sites like Amazon, when you can actually go buy it. But you can also get it on Amazon Music Unlimited, which is a
Mm-hmm.
streaming service, as well as Spotify, as well as Apple. And get it, no, make sure you spell her name correctly. So it's Terri. That's the first name. That's pretty easy. And the second name is Camilari or Camilleri.
Well, so here's a story. So we're going to tell a story. I just wrote a song about this story. So that is actually my married name. I do like it because Terry and Camilleri kind of rhyme, so that's kind of cool. However, I'm not a squid. I'm not a squid. It's not calamari. It's Camilleri. And if you think of it's AI, so it's Camilari,
Ah,
but it is pronounced Camilleri because when there was immigration that came through, the person writing it down wrote Lari. Although if you follow hockey, you know that it could be spelled Camillieri, which is Camilleri, which is the actual Sicilian name, but
I see.
so they kept the pronunciation and had to change the spelling.
I like it. So it's
So it's
C-A.
Camilari. That's how you spell my name.
Fantastic. I always do this with every guest because there's always, like our friend John Burroughs, there's no H in John. And people would tell me they couldn't find John Burroughs. I said, well, there's no H in John. That's why you can't find him. Yeah.
And there's the E between the W and the S. That's the other thing with John's name.
Ah, that's right. That's right. Two R's in it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can you talk a little bit about the house metaphor and how it played out when you were writing the song and how it and when you created the song, how did it play out and did it play out in some of the lyrics as well?
So I actually wrote this song. It was many years after I moved out of my parents' house. I was married for 18 years at the time and we were separating. And I just kind of felt empty. And I was driving through the old neighborhood whenever I get into Northeast Philadelphia. I like to drive past the house I grew up in, see how it's doing, making sure the new owners are still taking care of it and it still looks beautiful, which it does. And I went past the corner where this old house used to be, and it had been totally redone for a new family. And I thought about the way it used to look. It was completely hidden by, kudzu and all this kinds of just weeds. And an old man named Oscar lived there. And you only saw Oscar maybe once in a while. He was always wearing his work clothes. He would go down, maybe get some milk and stop into Gallagher's and get a quart of beer and walk back home. It's the only time you saw him. And he unfortunately did pass away in that house. But as a little kid, he was like, oh, like the scary man in the house. I have no idea. He was probably a lovely man, but he just lived there alone. And you couldn't really even see the porch. It was just completely covered and hidden and shadowed. So I saw this house rejuvenated, and my brain kind of went backwards as to that house probably was like that originally, became this overrun thing, and then was brought back to life. And so you match that with the feelings of, no one wants to end a marriage. I mean, you don't go into marriage thinking, and then when it's over, I'll do this. Like you think that's going to be it, and just kind of feeling empty and um, the place where those relationships happen is in your home, is in a house. And so in my imagination, I thought of someone who was going back to the place where they had had their family, and it's overrun now and no one lives there.
Yeah.
And so the metaphor then, some of the lines here, like feeling older, you know, as a woman, sometimes we like candlelight better than the sunshine, because candlelight can kind of mask what you're. So that's the line about in daylight you see everything, but in the moonlight there's a whole other image. You see the beauty of the edifice. So it's not a home anymore. It's just a house that's dark and empty. And that's kind of how I felt. So that's where the third verse kind of comes in. As we grow older, our beauty fades, we feel there are ghosts in our memory, just like there may be ghosts in this old house. And sometimes what makes us stop, even when we're lonely, is fear. Stop from rejuvenating that house again, like it had become when I went to look at it the last time. So all those things went into building this song. This
Yeah.
song was inspired by a place, and then
Right.
all the ways I could relate that to actual things that were happening.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
so
wonderful.
yeah,
It's got another house reference there. One, when is it too late to save the condemned, which is a very house comment about the condemnation of an
right.
old property. And I love the hook.
I try very hard not to overplay the. I'm just turning my phone off because it just started going off. You can wait. I'm on TV. Um, um, yeah, there was. What was your question? I'm sorry. What was your comment?
It was a comment about the house being condemned. It's fine.
Oh,
I,
condemned. I tried not to be too hokey. I definitely chose words like ghost and condemned to bring back how I was feeling in relationship to a house.
yeah, yeah. I love the hook in the chorus also, especially the line "took one chance too few." That's a very exact phrase. And when I heard it the first time I heard the song, I said, "Wow, I've listened to hundreds of thousands of songs in my life, and I don't think anyone's ever said that thing. Someone took one
Oh,
chance
thanks.
too few." Very unique line. Very nice.
And that's as you know, as a songwriter, that just came. It wasn't like I would write a line that was ever said. It just came. And at first, I thought I had made a mistake. I thought, no, no, no. People take one chance too many, and it's like, no, I can't believe it. It rhymes.
Yeah, even
So
better.
yeah. So thank you for that.
Yeah. No, that is good. So, when did you write your first song?
First time, well, I used to write poetry a lot, especially teenage years and in my 20s until I got around the time I got married. And the first actual song I wrote was actually for church. It was like religious music. I used to be very active in my church, and I wrote a couple of songs, and then did some covers of church favorites. And that was probably in when I started putting poetry and music was probably 1990, and made a little CD of those songs. Sold it, gave the money to like the church window thing. Because
Yeah.
as Catholics, we always have to be thinking, which I kind of admire myself, thinking of the community at large. How
Yeah.
I was given this gift for the community, so you know, wasn't about making money for myself. I covered the cost and then gave the rest to some cause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So about
remember
1990, I started doing that.
I remember speaking of your reference to the church, I remember playing my first folk mass in 1968 when I was like 12 and a half. And it was just so cool. It's a lot of fun.
Yes, guitars in church. That
Wow.
was a big influence on me because we had the coolest guitar group when I was growing up. Because I was born in the 60s. So in the 70s, it was like the height of this guitars and all, just let's just bring what we have and make it happen. And we had a leader who had taken we sang Blowing in the Wind at Mass. We sang a lot of this. That was a huge influence on me. And the next oldest sister, I'm the youngest of seven. The next oldest sister, to me was Judy. She started playing the guitar. She was 7 or 8, and she was in that guitar. Got to carry her guitar to the car. That was like I was a roadie, and that was. But that kind of music and singing it for an uplifting reason was a big influence on the kind of music that I write now. Like I was exposed to that even though I was fairly young at the time.
Yeah, it was very very inspiring to me too, as well as some older siblings who had learned different styles of music and were teaching me the
Hmm.
guitar. But yeah, so the words. So you were a poet. You were writing poetry a lot, and then a little bit later on, when you were still young, you started writing songs, and then actually releasing them out and giving them away. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, that is neat.
Yeah, Well, I've always, my family was loved music. Some of us are more musical than others. My father was a great singer. He had a group of friends that would come over. They always end up singing for part of the end of the night. You knew that they were um, finished drinking when they started singing. But I was always musical, and then I like to write. I don't know why I didn't put it together sooner, but it it happened when it happened. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And was guitar your first instrument? Was guitar your first
No,
instrument?
I had 3 years. No, piano was my first instrument.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, maybe kazoo, or recorder in school. I'm not
That's
sure,
great.
but my the first instrument that I actually took lessons on was the piano. Which
That's
actually, I was talking with our friend Lisa Jeanette a
yes.
couple of weeks ago. We were talking about how learning the piano makes understanding the theory on guitar very challenging because you're used to seeing things flat in front of you,
Oh
and
yeah.
you're looking at it straight down and across, and it's mind blowing sometimes.
It's
So,
weird. It is weird. Yeah, totally.
but it does help. If you want to learn music, learn how to play the piano at least a little, because it's the gateway to everything. It,
Yeah.
learning how to read a staff is good, is a good skill to have.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, folks, we are with Terri Camilari here on Songwriters Alive with Tom Cooney. We have a new episode on the first Monday of every month at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Tom Cooney YouTube. It gets replayed out to Rocking the Valley. They help with our distribution. Thanks, Steve Jones and everyone at Rocking the Valley. Don't forget, the third Monday at 7 o'clock is my monthly show of my music doing live. You can catch that too. You can also, on my Tom Cooney YouTube page, get prior episodes of this series, Songwriters Live, including one with the person Terri Camilari just mentioned, Lisa Jeanette. A wonderful episode with Lisa. And it is just great to have Terri Camilari here. And Terri, I'm going to ask you to play your second tune in a second. And what were you thinking of sharing? And can you tell us a little bit about this tune?
This song is called Fall Away. Fall Away. It's also on the CD that I released. This was inspired by a person, a member of my family that was transgender. But it, from people who have heard it, who were not in that situation, they also relate to it. As anytime you have to come to terms with just being who you are. And I wrote it about, coincidentally, that the first line might make people think that I wrote it during the pandemic, but I did not. Um, and I found it just, this was a song that, I just like put simple ideas out there, that because I wanted people to be able to relate to it, even if they weren't plus community. And so I'm glad to share. The recording was done. All of my songs are recorded at Morning Star Studios with Glenn Barrett, and he encourages the artist to kind of co-produce with him, uh, and his group of studio musicians, which would be Kevin Hansen, Michael Ronstadt, Grant McAvoy, and, as you probably know, also Brian Huff did some bass work on it, and so did Chico Huff, although they are not related.
True.
And it's called Fall Away. I wore a what I did and what I'd say. But in the evening, I'd come home and face the truth on my own. I lived my life by the rules. Was I right or just a fool? No way to know. The past is past, but it was time to shed the mask. When it falls away, all that's left is me. Nothing left to say. 'Cause you get what you see. When it all falls away, it all falls away from me, and I'm free. So here I am, let it be. Can't be concerned with what you think of me. I'll always love you every day. Drop the rules, found my way. When it falls away, all that's left is me. Nothing left to say, 'cause you get what you see. When it all falls away, it all falls away from me. Fall away, fall away, fall away, fall away, fall away from me. I'm free.
Well, that's a beautiful song. That is
Thanks.
beautiful. Yeah. Very, very heartfelt. It gets right to the point. Yeah, yeah. And I love the lyrics when it all falls away, all that's left is me. And it's it's a fantastic the way you keep coming back to that the person is who they are, and that is the core of the message. Yeah, yeah. It's very strong.
Well, I think you don't you think though? I mean that the greatest journey in life are when you're finding something that's genuine. You know, if you're getting to the crux of something, the kernel of truth that's in what a moment, a person, an event. I mean, to me, that's the most profound place we can try to go is what's really happening. And how am I going to be happiest by being true to my, I mean, Shakespeare, to thine own self be true. You
Yeah,
know, it's been around forever.
yeah,
Been around
yeah,
forever, Tom.
yeah. I've played a game with my daughter since she was really little. We had this game called where I would accidentally, over the years when she was very young, accidentally divulge the secrets of life, and 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 the first one, the first one was to know yourself and love yourself and take care of yourself because you won't have anything to give to the world, to other people, unless that is taken care of. And you'll have that much more to give if you take care of it. And, so then every other other secrets as well. I can't divulge
So
them right
you would
now.
like accidentally
Yeah,
divulge
yes,
the secret?
yes. I would go like that. What I just said, that's just one of the secrets.
That's fantastic.
Oh, it's good to have fun. Now she's
Kind of like a lot of the language that we use is not what we mean, but everyone kind of is supposed to understand the real meaning behind
oh
these
yeah,
words that don't mean that. Like you say you're fine, that means oh, there's something going on. It doesn't mean you're fine. You say whatever it is, I'm working on and this started to bother me. So I'm working on a song now called What I Say and What I Mean. Like when I say this is what I mean. And sometimes it is like when I say I'm fine, I usually am fine.
except that
It's like this is about the way we use language. It's like just be clear, please.
yeah. I would
I
say though. Let
don't
me.
have the bandwidth to like all of it.
Oh yeah,
What was that?
it's hard enough without the translation. Yeah. I would say one of my observations about your lyrics, as I've listened to all your songs, is the clarity in your writing. You know what you want to say in each song, and you're very clear about it. And there's the writing is clear, but the writing is also honest. I kind of picked that up from a lot of your stuff. There's a lot. I'm sure there are songs that are intentionally obtuse or mysterious, but in general, my opinion is there's a real clarity. Is that something that you've always strived for? Getting right to the thing you're trying to do?
Um, Really good question. Take on it to kind of answer. I don't think I said I sit down and maybe some what you mean. I don't think I sit down and say I want to be very honest or I want to be very clear. But depending on how, well, now we get down to like the process of writing a song because I have a few different ways that I approach writing a song.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's, I have an idea of something I want to show. And so that could be, yes, I wrote Fall Away because I wanted to show someone accepting themselves as they become who they really are. So, you know, um, I try not to overstate things. So maybe that's kind of coming through. I try not to like be too ornamental, but, and I also try not to overtell. Um, for a while, it was almost like a little sentence to make someone picture something in their head. And what they pictured was half of what the song was trying to say. So it's almost like interactive in a way. And I didn't observe that in myself. It wasn't an intention. It just was like, oh, that's kind of weird. I do that. Um, but I do think it's important, unless it's like a mysterious song. And I do have a mysterious song. I wasn't going to play it tonight, but it's which I'll talk about in a minute. Unless it's like I want someone to try to be like, oh, what's going on there? Um, I want to just be simple, poetic, and I use a lot of metaphors that I will then unravel as the song goes on. If any of that is what you're talking about, then I hope that answers your question. I'm sorry, the cat was playing with the guitar. So, you're not
Yeah.
going in the closet. Come here, sweetie. I know.
Yeah, I have cats here too. They're menaces. But yeah, I really like that's exactly what I was getting at, which is and your use of metaphor is fantastic, and it's very strong for the listener, as you know, where they have a framework or a metaphor that can hold their hand while you're going through the song. It's really cool. I do
I
want to follow
hope
up on.
so. I appreciate that.
Oh, I want to follow up on the process question since you opened it up. So I'll ask a couple of questions about it, which hopefully you can answer briefly. Is it generally lyrics first, then you apply music to them, or are you a music and melody person, then you go looking for lyrics,
Um,
or something else?
I, for the most part, it is lyrics first, but usually by the second verse, I have a melody going in my head that's like answering what I'm writing.
Got it.
So I'm one of those weird, like, of course, I was post hippie, but kind of that hippie kind of things working for me, man. Like I can't really tell you where it comes from. It's just, it comes out of me. But but I will take some credit for it. They I'll get a couple of lines. I'll be driving to the supermarket and I'll see something on the street and a couple of lines will go through my head. And I'll be like, oh, that's gonna be a song. Okay. I've gotten to the point where now I take my phone and I record it. So sometimes it's the words first. And the melody starts to come along. Sometimes it'll come into my head. There was a song I wrote called "This Has Got to Stop," and the verse goes, "Last thing in the evening, first thing in the morning, middle of the day, it happens without warning. I thank you. This has got to stop." And that just was going through my head for like 2 weeks, just that part. And then I sat down and when I was short and I wrote the rest of the song around that. Um, During the pandemic, I sat down and just fiddled around with per- chord progressions. I had the time and I wanted to explore writing the melody first. And that was interesting. But normally it's a combination of lyrics first, lyrics and music together.
That's neat. They all obviously all come in a lot of different ways.
Mhm.
I have another general question about the process, and that is, it's always a mix of inspiration where a song comes in an inspirational large sweep, and a mix of also craft of following a hook you've created or crafting out lyrics, and it's more of a get the pencil out and the eraser and work, and in general that's every it's that's a little different for each songwriter. Some songwriters have a high degree of just craft oriented head down stuff, but they all have some degree of a song came in an inspiration. How do those two things play out when, as you've written songs?
So like the song like Old House was inspired by what I saw. I saw this house. It was a place. And then the ideas just started to form around it. Once I had it on paper, uh, let me just backtrack. I learned a long time ago in a creative writing class to allow yourself to just brainstorm. You throw everything up onto the paper and then you get rid of all the dross, everything that doesn't belong there. It's kind of like, that idea of sculptors takes away what doesn't belong to the statue. He doesn't really create the statue. He's taking it away. He starts with a piece of marble, and that's kind of what the first draft is. More often than not, I'll have an idea inspired by a person, a place, or an event, and I'll just start writing. I'll just start writing, and if I can't think of a rhyme or it's not really structured, I'll worry about it. I just get it all out. Sometimes I'll get an idea and I don't know how to put it into song structure, so I'll write a paragraph. I'll write the story out and use that as like source material. And then from there, I find phrases and words, and then I can put them into a song structure. I'm working on starting a song about the aurora borealis, which I love. I'm super inspired by that, but I don't know what it is that inspires me. So I do research. I like going. I'm like, what did the first people think the aurora borealis was? What's the mythology? What is the science? What is so I have all of this information. I still don't know what to do with it. But someday there's going to be a song about the aurora borealis. But that's how much work has to go into figuring out why is the aurora borealis on me to write a song.
Yeah,
I have to figure that out. Um,
that's fantastic.
and
Yeah.
yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Did I answer your
So
question?
yeah, so there's lots of different ways. Yeah, it's the same with
Lots of different
every
ways.
it's the same with every songwriter. Hey, this is Songwriters Alive with Tom Cooney. We're here live the first Monday of the month at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube, Tom Cooney, with a songwriter from the Middle Atlantic region of the United States. And our guest tonight is Terri Camilari, and that's Terri Camilari. Terri Camilleri, and a wonderful singer-songwriter from Greater Philadelphia. And I wanted to take a real quick look at a couple of spots where you can find Terry's music here. So I'm going to switch over here. You can find Terry on Spotify, as you can see here. And that's Terri Camilleri. And there's that wonderful cover of Old House, a beautiful song. She did the first song tonight. She is also available on Amazon Music, as you can see. And there's a beautiful song I listened to there, as you can see, Diamonds in the Snow. It's very beautiful also. Terry is revising her website, and it's terricam.net. So please keep an eye on that and go back to terricam.net. And on Apple Music, I think we stopped there. I'm not sure we did. It's Terri Camilleri on Apple Music. And there is a topic page, so you'll see Terri Camilleri or Terri Camilleri topic on YouTube, where you can see some neat stuff on there as well. For general keeping up with Terry and all the stuff she's doing, it's Terri Cam Tunage on Facebook. Please reach out and please connect with her and follow all the different places she's playing and things she's doing. As you can tell, a very personable person, and just to be a great person to get to know. And you'll definitely will seriously like her music as well. Were there any other website or social media things? You're not, I would assume like me, you're not doing 15-second TikTok videos? Not yet. So,
No, no. I hope to. I'm very inspired by people like you who do the podcast and I have some things, some irons in the fire, which I think I asked for guidance on. I'm really interested in traditional folk music and making sure that people, especially younger people, maybe get exposed to the roots of a lot of it is Celtic roots coming over to Appalachia and understanding those forms that came into folk music, the neo folk movement, and country music. So I would like to, at some point, in the next couple of months, get that up and running. Kind of just a 15-minute, you know, a song, and then maybe see how it's been reflected going forward. But really, I'm very moved by that kind of music. I think because it's in my molecules. So that's something that I'm interested in doing. But I don't do 15-minute videos I don't do the 15-second videos on TikTok, although I give people a lot of credit for some of the great things that they come up with.
yes.
I'm like, you can do it, and it's building people up and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a great
so
way
right
to.
now, no videos. If you do go on YouTube, you will see. Yeah, what's a great way?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry.
Yeah.
I did want to give a shout out to Grant. I first put my first words and music together in the early 90s. And then around the turn of the century, he and I, we were friends in college and then became friends again. Um, and he and I had a music partnership called Spring House Revival. That was really instrumental in getting me to write my own stuff. He would write the lyrics, and I wrote all the settings, all the melodies and the progressions, and then we worked with the musical wrecking crew over at Morning Star to get those together. That was on Spring House Revival. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Gordon because he is still recording music. Um, he's still writing. I should say I'm working with other songwriters, and you should check him out as well, Gordonville. That's all I wanted to say about. Tom, I can't hear you anymore.
I'm actually going to press the unmute button, Terry. There's like it's like magic. It's like magic. I just found it. The so I knew this hour was going to go
Oh
by
no!
so quickly because
What time
you're
is it? Is it over already?
well, no, we've got about 12 for 13 minutes. I want to get two songs
Okay,
in.
that's okay.
So again, we're with Terri Camilari, and make sure that you reach out and connect with her and at all the websites that we looked at and all the streaming services. Support her, connect with her, listen to her music, buy her music, and it's just a really nice person as well. I'm going to try to sneak two more of your great original songs in. And what were you thinking of sharing next? What original song would you want to play
Well,
next?
the next one is a heavy music, heavy topic. It was written after the Sandy Hook shootings, and I won't use names, but there was a woman I went through college with in the theater department at the Sales University whose son was killed there. And this was a song I wrote after contemplating, what it would be as a parent of a child at the time, sending them off to school and just not knowing this would even be a possibility. And also, the song kind of changes midstream about we all know what's happening, and there really is no reason to debate it. We know what the problem is, and we know what the obstacles are to solving that problem. And the song kind of reflects that at the end. It's called Any Other Day. Um, so I'm just going to get right to it. In the morning, she watches them sleep. She calls their names downstairs sweet, and she smiles a day like any other. She smiles at the table. They giggle and fight. He packs their lunch and reminds them to be polite. And he laughs a day like any other. And he laughs. How could they know when they kiss them goodbye? In the afternoon, the phone rings, gunshots at school. They drop everything and they fear it was a day like any other. Now they fear they know when they kiss them goodbye. It was the last day holiday. Every time it happens, they die a little more. First the dead are counted, then the nation goes to war. Neglect the unstrung, sacrifice the young. But the guns still sound, shooting off another round. In the evening now, they sit like stones, touches her hand. All these years alone, and they cry. A day like too many others, they cry. Another day of dying, and they add it on and on. It plays out on the TV. How could we have known? On a day like too many others, and the guns still sound, shooting off another round. And the guns still sound, shooting off another round. Shooting off another round. On a day like too many others.
Wow. That's very powerful. It's a beautiful song. Yeah. Very, very beautiful.
I wish it didn't. I wish I didn't have. I wish I had no inspiration to write that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we do.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's the thing. I mean, sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's for purpose, and
yeah.
that's what we do.
Yeah. We have to, yeah.
Um.
You do everything you can to,
So,
you know. Go ahead. What were we going to say?
what were you gonna say, Tom?
No,
What were you gonna say?
I was going to say,
What were you
yeah,
gonna say?
you have to, you have to, you have to write if it hits you, even if it's a very difficult topic. And of course, we have to, as everyone does, hopefully, act as much as you can to, with your legislators and other people, to let them know that the majority of us still don't like this and still think it's wrong, the majority. It's, it's just crazy.
Right. And it's not taking guns away from everyone. It's not taking guns away from people at ducks who need to defend their property from wolves and
Yeah. Yeah.
we're not talking about that. We're talking about assault rifles
Yeah.
not being
Yeah.
monitored. And
Yeah.
so anyway, so that's what that song is. That was an event that inspired me. So yeah.
Yeah, very, very, very powerful
Yeah.
song. Very nice. We're with Terri Camilari, and those of you on YouTube, we're probably going to go about 1 or 2 minutes over 8 o'clock, which is fine. So we've got going to ask Terri to play one more tune, and don't forget to find Terri Camilari on Terri Cam Tunage on Facebook is how you can connect with her socially, and that's where she puts a lot of her musical updates. And you can also find her on Apple Music, Amazon Music, Spotify, CD Baby. And don't forget terrycam.net, her website, which is being updated as we speak. And of course, out on YouTube, you can find some stuff that she's done as well. So a very good writer, and I love the way you deliver your songs as well. And as you can tell by that last song, folks, when Terri decides to let her big vocal power go, it goes. It's just wonderful, wonderful to listen to. Very nice. What were you
Going,
think?
"Ooh, sing like a lady, sing like a lady." Um,
What were you thinking of taking us out
um,
with tonight?
I'm going to take us out with a song that was inspired by a word, the word conversation. And I also want to thank everyone at PASA and all the folks over at the Phoenixville Area Acoustic Jam Group. When after my father passed away, I really made a commitment to kind of, play with other people. And I found this group, and I found them because they were 15 minutes on a Tuesday night from where I worked. It wasn't even where I lived, it was from where I worked. And they have been just a tremendous influence, all good songwriters, people that come to play, great folks. They have been instrumental, no pun intended, in helping me grow as a songwriter as well. And people like yourself, Tom, and John Burroughs, and Lisa Jeanette, Tracy, Coletta, all these great songwriters around. Thank you all for helping me be who I am, hopefully becoming. This song is called Conversation. The room is crammed with voices, talking, saying little more than touting all their choices. I wonder if they're ever sure. You catch my eye as you walk in. Your wet coat tells me where you've been. I see your smile, you roll your eyes. I laugh, you know I sympathize. Raise your hand up to your mouth. I pass the bar to get your drink. You clear 2 seats across the couch. It's funny, you know how I think. You take your glass and then my hand, and for a moment just you stand. I sit and next to me you rest. Tonight we're not the perfect guests. Talk to me, my love. Talk to me, my love. And with a sigh, your head falls back. On your shoulder, I rest mine. My fingers find yours, and at last, the crowded room is held in time. We drink our glasses and we sip another wordless, loving trip. And closed by endless talking threads, our conversation moves unsaid. And soon you'll be home and off to bed. Talk to me, my love. Talk to me, my love.
What a beautiful, beautiful song. Great song and great delivery. Nice guitar playing too.
Oh, thanks.
Very nice. Hey, we're all wrapped up
That
here.
is rarely said, but thank you.
We're all wrapped up here. This has been episode 28 of Songwriters Alive. Our guest has been Terri Camilari. Please reach out and connect with her and support her musical journey in any way you can. It'd just be great. Look for a new episode on the first Monday of the month at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube, Tom Cooney. You'll see me on the third Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, where I do an hour performance of my own material. Maybe I'll slip a cover in here or there as well. Thank you all for listening and for your support of original creative music. And Terri, do you have a chance to say goodnight to everyone?
Well, thanks everyone who came out to watch it live, and if you're watching it on a replay, thanks also. Just want to say we do have a trio that plays choice covers and some originals, and we have a regular gig through September at Uncle E's Barbecue in Phoenixville on the third Thursday of every month. Thanks.
Wonderful. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Good night.
All right, awesome. We'll see you
So
all.
we'll be there June 30th, and then I'm sorry for interrupting you, Tom.
No,
I
go
made a
ahead.
mistake. It's June 30th, and then it's the third Thursday after that. I'm done.
Good. June 30th, then the third Thursday after that. Awesome. Thanks again, Terri, and we'll see everyone soon on Songwriters Alive.